Birds conquered the sky long before humans ever dreamed of flight. For more than 150 million years, wings allowed birds to escape predators, cross oceans, and spread across nearly every continent on Earth. Flight became one of evolution's greatest achievements, yet among all birds, one lineage chose a completely different path. Penguins still have wings. They still have feathers. They still lay eggs. Everything about them says they are birds. Except they cannot fly. How does a bird lose one of evolution's greatest inventions? Why would natural selection abandon flight only to replace it with life beneath the sea? More than 60 million years ago, the ancestors of penguins looked nothing like the birds standing on Antarctic ice today. They were ordinary seabirds. They nested along rocky coastlines. They soared above the ocean, searching for schools of fish. And like nearly every other bird, their wings were built for the sky, long, flexible, lightweight. Their hollow bones reduced body weight, making flight remarkably efficient. Whenever danger appeared, they simply took to the air. But the southern oceans were changing. Cold currents carried enormous amounts of nutrients toward the surface. Fish and squid flourished beneath the waves. Food was becoming increasingly abundant underwater. For some birds, diving was no longer just another way to hunt. It was becoming the better strategy. At first, those ancient seabirds still relied on flight. They would soar across the ocean, spot prey from above, then plunge beneath the surface for only a few moments before returning to the air. But each generation that stayed underwater just a little longer returned with more food. Those birds survived more often, raised more chicks, and slowly, natural selection began rewarding better divers instead of better flyers. The changes were almost invisible. The wings became slightly shorter, slightly stiffer. The bones gradually became denser. The chest muscles grew stronger. Every new adaptation made swimming more efficient. But each improvement underwater made flight slightly more difficult. There was never a moment when penguins suddenly forgot how to fly. Instead, they flew a little worse every generation, while swimming a little better. Over millions of years, the balance quietly shifted. As flight became less important, the wings continued changing. Instead of generating lift through the air, they became rigid flippers, capable of pushing enormous amounts of water. The joints stiffened, the feathers became shorter, denser, and almost perfectly waterproof. Their bodies grew heavier. Their bones lost much of the hollow structure found in flying birds. Even their muscles changed. The same muscles that once powered flight now propelled them through the ocean with astonishing speed. Their streamlined bodies reduced drag. A thick layer of insulating feathers trapped warm air close to the skin. Every adaptation served one purpose: to master life beneath the waves. The fossil record captures this transformation. One of the earliest known penguins, Waimanu, lived around 62 million years ago. It had already lost the ability to fly, but many of its bones still resembled those of its flying ancestors. It represented evolution caught in transition. Millions of years later, its wings had become even more specialized for swimming. Its body was becoming increasingly streamlined. It spent more of its life beneath the surface than above it. Then appeared giants like Palaeodiptes. Standing nearly as tall as an adult human, these ancient penguins ruled southern oceans long before seals and whales became dominant marine hunters. Although those giants eventually disappeared, their descendants continued refining the same underwater design, generation after generation, until modern penguins emerged. Today, penguins are among the most efficient underwater hunters on Earth. Some species dive deeper than 500 meters. Others remain underwater for more than 20 minutes. They twist, accelerate, and pursue fish with remarkable precision. Underwater, their wings still fly. Only now, they fly through water instead of air. Every stroke produces lift. Every movement follows the same aerodynamic principles that once kept their ancestors in the sky. The medium changed. The mechanics remained surprisingly familiar. Evolution never promises perfection, only adaptation. Sometimes gaining a new ability means letting go of another. For penguins, mastering the ocean required surrendering the sky. They did not fail to remain flying birds. They became something entirely different. A bird that transformed its wings into flippers, its flight into swimming, and the endless ocean into its new sky.